Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're playing some Pokemon Pulsing Time. And in this game, you start off, create your character, you name your character, just like any other Pokemon game, except for after that, absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. And this was perplexing to me. I'm like, okay, what do? I start looking at everything, and I see the Pokeball there, but I'm not used to just opening up the game to zero dialogue. So the first thing you pick up is the EXP share, go downstairs, talk to your mom, and you can either give her some sass or just tell her you're good. So I just said, I'm good. And we get told that Professor Crypt is looking for us. What an ominous name, Professor Crypt. So she said, don't know what he wants, but he wants you there. Don't you think that's kind of strange? But, anyways, we move on. We go to the professor. But first, we get stopped by our best friend. No introduction, just best friend. We're automatically best friends forever. That's Flint. He's actually pretty dope. He's a cool dude so far. So far. Now, I've only done up to the first gym. I'm going to segment this in a fun little way. But yeah, so far so good. Once we head into the laboratory, we meet with Professor Crypt, who looks similar to Professor Oak, but not exactly. So we basically get told some stuff that happens and why we're being called in. There was a letter because in this timeline, you don't just become a Pokemon trainer, you have to get approved. So, our two best friends, the heroes, go to get approved. And their letters were lost. So we have to go to the post office in the next town. And the professor gives us some Pokemon to just stand in for the time being, but I knew we were keeping them when we were naming them. So I did the obvious choice. I chose the Charmander, named her Flames, and before you know it, we're on our way. Our best friend Flint starts looking around, chooses Oshawott, leaving poor Chikorita to be upset, and the professor reassures Chikorita that it's not so bad, you can help out in the lab. Which, I mean, sure, no one was picking Chikorita. Anyway, now we can go to Mapletown, the next town. We meet with Flint, and we're basically told, hey, there's Pokemon in there. So Flint and I start to race. And because it's a cutscene and because it's a Pokemon game, you have no choice but to be the loser in the race, which is fine with me because it gives me more time to stack up some levels on this borrowed Pokemon that we're eventually going to keep. Because, come on, we don't name borrowed Pokemon. Anyway, this is a whole segment where I just overlevel because I have a tendency to do this in Pokemon games where I start leveling, I get comfortable, and I'm like, oh, we're doing it. And so I keep leveling. As a matter of fact, I think I had already evolved before the first gym, and even though I was not strong against it, we'll get there. Uh, yeah, I was level 17 when I rolled in there, so if I had something that was strong to the first gym, I would have swept. But luckily, that happens. We just got to give it time. So anyway, once we get into Mapletown, we meet with Flint, and he says, "What kept us so long?" "Why, leveling, my good chap. That's what kept me so long." So now it's a brand new, bustling town, and we're lost. We have no idea where we're supposed to go. We're supposed to go to the post office. However, we've never been outside city limits because the tall grass have Pokemon. And as you know, normal civilians are super scared of Pokemon, even though you have them all as household pets. So now, it becomes a mad dash to look for this post office. I start speaking with random NPCs, seeing if they'll give me any information, but they all just talk about Mapletown and special Pokemon. That's good and well, but I really don't care. Now, the first building I see with the sign happened to be the post office. Go right in. I start talking to random people because I'm like, who do I talk to? And little did I know, there was a desk. I go to the desk. Flint is already there, and he's already upset. He's already thrown a tantrum because they don't have his letter. Now, the professor did tell us there was a letter for both of us, but Flint's isn't there. So now he says, well, why don't you tell them your name? Which, I mean, Flint could have just said my name for me. However, I end up saying the name after. And he says, your letter was here too, but it got taken. And so now it becomes a mad dash of what is going on, who stole these letters, and what are they going to do with them, because they're literally wrote out to Flint and myself. There's not much they can do to it. So Flint dashes back, and I just stroll back. I'm not really caring. I'm kind of pacing myself. I've got my starter Pokemon. I start looking around, and I start enjoying the sights of Mapletown, as I've been locked inside of my hometown for the first seemingly 10 to 12 years of my life. I've not explored anything or seen anything. So now we come back, and the champion is there. It's the champion of the whole league is there waiting for us to return. Now, the champion also grew up in this hometown. He remembers Flint and myself. So, or the main character, I guess I should just say the main character. So, he also goes on this yapping session about how we need to be strong and bibbidi babbidi bibbidi babbidi, and then something falls out of the sky. And that something is having to do with Dynamax, but we're not supposed to know yet. So, what goes on is the champion has the letters, Luther has the letters, and because of that, he wanted to personally congratulate us for being allowed to be trainers. Then the professor does say we do get to, in fact, keep those Pokemon, which also sends Flint into a flurry and says, hey, now I can defeat you. Now, granted, he may have thought that, and granted, he does have a stronger type against me, so it looks good for him. However, what Flint doesn't know is I'm a Pokemon master, and I always overlevel, no matter the cause. You were not taking me down, so start hitting him up with a few smoke screens, letting it go out. And I know at any time he can just hit me with the water gun, and I'm done so. But I'm holding all the cards in my hand, and I'm slowly just working him down. And then he starts giving little posy threats. Oh, you don't expect me to go easy on you. And so I have no choice but to knock out his Pokemon. And then he admits defeat, very upset because he's in front of the champion and he just got done proclaiming to be the next one, and I crushed his dreams. However, it's only lasted for a split second as we get handed our Pokedex, and Flint says he's going to be the first one to fill the whole thing up. Now, I love the enthusiasm, but I don't think that's going to happen. Because you know what, Flint? We're best friends, but I'm going to beat you at that too. You get no pass for it. So now we have to keep going and start our progress as a brand new renowned trainer. We have to go talk to our mom and let her know that we are leaving town, and it's no big deal. We got to do what we got to do. And she just says, I'll watch your battles. Now, anything could happen in between traveling towns, and, being only 10 to 12, anything could happen. So, love the confidence. Love that stride of confidence. I'm glad you have so much faith in your son, Ma. Anyways, I go heal the Pokemon, and then we start our journey. We go to leave town. And because we're leaving town, all of a sudden, the people on the first route want to battle. Because now it's a spectacle, it's a show. They're like, oh, you're a trainer now. You're a fully formed trainer, and they don't leave you alone. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Gonna have to take you guys down too. That's fine. That's no big deal. We can do that. Now we move on to our journey, and at first I was gonna leave, but I just had to keep grinding. I just had to keep doing it. Now the next thing I do is I find a Bellsprout. I catch that Bellsprout because we need it. So now we're just doing more training. Guys, this is a lot of the video. This bulk right here is quite a lot of the video where I just overtrain my Pokemon. I have a bad habit of doing that in RPG games. So I'm gonna just yap. I did enjoy this. I do love the different levels so far, like what we've seen thus far. I won't explain anymore past this, but I do like that the towns are seemingly different, and I do like how they have their own style, their own look, and I was very excited to try this game out. Now, after catching our Bellsprout, we do the only thing. We had flames, so we needed bells. Gotta have bells, and I almost spelled it wrong because I had to use keyboard and I was typing too quick. So, anyways, On to the next. Go to the Poke Center. And Flint is there talking to some random girl, and she recognizes us, and we're just like, yeah, we don't know who you are. And it turns out it's Professor Cripp's daughter, and she's just been traveling the world too, I guess, been doing her own thing, and she just is like, oh, you want proof? My father conducts research. Like, oh, geez, no, he's a professor. Oh, wow, you're giving me such insightful information. I didn't know that. Anyways, she gives you some tips and tricks and tells you that she's going to be at every match you have, which is automatically a lie. I mean, she's there for you, the main character, but everybody is not there for Flint. We got to be there for Flint. We got to do more for Flint. So she gives us some potions. It says you can use these bad boys up, but if you've seen my other Pokemon gameplay videos, then you know damn well I overuse the Poke Center because it's free. It's FREE free. And you don't have to worry about stocking up potions. The only time I do that is late game at the final gym. And I will do what I have to do to win. So she finally lets us go back to our journey until a thief runs by in some weird suit, and this guy tells us it's an old artifact, and all of a sudden we feel the obligation that we believe you. You're telling the truth. So we go chasing after him. The thief, I mean, too. We go chasing after the thief. Running through the whole town, I kind of got lost, and I'm like, oh yeah, that forest. It was locked down earlier. So Evelyn teleports there and tells us it's a maze. And boy, oh boy, she wasn't kidding. There's a lot of ways to go in this forest. You can get lost pretty quickly. However, we have our wits about us, and we keep going until we find Flint or the thief. Preferably the thief first, just so we have another thing to rub into Flint's face. But we'll see what happens. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I talk to some of the NPCs because I'm just a casual guy like that, and I start running one way, get stopped by a trainer who thinks he's gonna stop me. So I'm like, okay, buddy, what you got? Oh, a Pidgey, that's cool. Guess what? He's on fire. So yeah, I mean, again, a lot of battling, do a lot of battling. I overtrain. This Pokemon is going to be ready for anything. I'm going to have a Charizard by the third gym. I promise. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it work now. Now that I said it here and it's on video, I got to do it. I got to work my ass off to get a Charizard before the third gym. Now, being that it's the forest, you get a lot of grass types, which is good to feed my Charizard all the experience in the world. And now my other Pokemon, because we have more Pokemon with us. We have a grass type, Bellsprout. And I'm very excited to get more experience. And what's cool is I do like that you get the EXP share at the beginning of the game. I know a lot of early Pokemon games were kind of like funny about that. You'd have to make them wear the item or have a separate item called EXP share all, and it was a weird time. It was before, you know, Pokemon games came standard with giving everybody EXP. It was a different era, man. You had to be there. Anyways, we find this trainer here is like, if you're up for this challenge, I'm going to battle you and you'll get a reward. And you know me, I'm never one to turn down a challenge. So he brings out a Scyther and I'm like, oh, easy. Easy. Like, bro, like, why would you even think that's going to be a problem for me and my fire type? I don't understand. I don't understand what you're thinking. So he hits me with a good false swipe hit. I end up taking a lot of damage. I start getting nervous until I scratch the fuck out of his Scyther and he gets incapacitated. So now we get a new move, Dragon Breath. Now, I am stupid because I used to think that Dragon Breath is the good move, and it's not. It's a separate move. That's a really good move that has the name Dragon in it, and I always get the two confused. But hey, it happens, and we're here, and we make mistakes. It is what it is. It's a better attack than Leer. I hardly ever use Leer. So we just battle more trainers, find a nurse who's also a trainer and can heal our Pokemon anytime. So I take full advantage of that because I have a feeling we're close. and we fight more trainers that have a lot of grass types, a lot of bug types, and it is nothing for our Pokemon. Now, what's funny is, I didn't mention it, but this, I think it was Meowmere? No. Anyways, this cat Pokemon here is named Pain because I literally threw 176 Pokeballs. I'm exaggerating, of course, but the idea is I had a very, very limited amount, and it should not have made my life that difficult to catch a normal type Pokemon. I understand if it was a dragon type or something, but you're a normal type. Get off your high horse. You're not that special. This forest is a long segment because I got lost. So now we catch up to the thief, and he's like, I have no idea where I'm going. I don't even know what I'm doing here, boss. And I'm stuck by the tree. So we corner the thief, who's like, I'm guessing an adult, because like in this portrait here, he looks much older than the main character. He brings out a Teddy Ursa, which I'm like, oh, that ain't so bad. But I'm pretty sure Teddy Ursa can learn some rock type moves, and I didn't think about that till halfway through, because I know Teddy Ursa also learns dark type moves. Now, also, fun fact, Teddy Ursa has a trait where if you eat a berry, it's gonna copy you. So I got quite annoyed when my citrus berry took effect and it copied me. So now I want to set a rock and rolla, and I'm like, well, that's a perfect job for bells, hell's bells. I bring out the bell sprout, and I know it's a rock type, and instead of doing the smart thing and hitting it with the wrap and then a vine whip, I get ahead of myself and hit vine whip. Every rock and rolla has sturdy, and I'm stupid for not remembering that, so I have to waste an extra turn just to hit it again. However, it wasted its turn by doing defense curl, which I'm like, you're stupid, but you know, hey. Anyways, the thief is like very reluctant. It's like, here, take the pendant then. You only backed me into a tree. Like, no, we didn't. You tried to run away, and you let a 10-year-old take advantage of you. Like, you're the stupid one here. You got punked. Anyway, Evelyn tells you what a good job you did, and I'm like, did you even take the pendant? Like, what's going on? Do I need to go back? So I start like going backwards because I don't know what the hell is going on. And finally I get to the realization that no, I don't need to go back. So I continue on my way. We go to the next city, which is Granite City, which is getting overrun by all of these Team Cyclops members, which are all dressed in this weird garb, and has Billy Mays leading the crowd over here, a mix of Bob Ross and Billy Mays anyway. So he's just basically telling the people that, like, if you love your Pokemon, then you'll just give them to us because we'll set them free, which is, I mean, these people. Team Rocket was obvious, but this is new levels of just crazy. So we head up to a school in town, and we just come upon this, I guess, a lover's quarrel. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but they're calling each other punks. One's calling the other arrogant, the other calling each other weak. And they see you, and they pit you at the middle of it, and she tells the arrogant one that, well, if I beat him, then you can't call me weak. And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? I'm 10 to 12. At least the character is. Like, you can't. That's stupid. So Trinity is her name, and she does anyways, and I'm like, oh, you're stupid, you came in with the bug type, like, you're stupid, you must not know. And so she brings out a Toxel, and I'm like, okay, that might pose some trouble. Nah, not for our boy Charmander, that doesn't happen, think again. So now she gets punked, and now we have to face the arrogant one, and I'm like, no, it's a Larvitar. Like, I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. However, I bring out my Bellsprout and make very quick work of the Larvitar. I'm not worried about it. So he goes, it's not going to happen again, and really, I'm just thinking, yeah, you're right, because I'll probably never see you as a character again. At least I hope not, because you're very annoying. Like, you're very mildly annoying. So now Trinity says absolutely shameful and thinks she's dunking on him, and he just runs out crying because he just got beat by a 10-year-old. So she tells us that she's going to become the best. We go on our way to this guy kicking a statue, and now we have to find the gym. That's the whole point of this, is we have to find a gym. So I break into a house and I start finding the TM for Thief, and I get caught. I get caught, bro. Like, I literally caught the TM. I almost said TM for thief, and I get caught by a burglar nonetheless. So he's a professional. So now we have to fight our way out of this house because, you know, I just got caught stealing from a thief, which is just kind of ironic and funny. I had to include it. I mean, because this game does have its charm. This Romhack has its charm with little things like this, little slights like this. So it definitely had to be included, because how could you not? So once you defeat the trainer, you start working on it again. He says, how about we never talk about this? He's like, you're good, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you this, just don't steal. We go up to the gym, and the guy tells us, hey, you know, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. He's in the mines. And I'm just thinking, what do you mean, bro? Like, the leader's in the mines? So now we go in without Flash. We have to navigate this whole mine, which means a lot of battling. Now, I'm all for that. I'm all for overly leveling up and all that. But I also really hate navigating in the dark like this. I understand that's part of the challenge. Put it in the second or third gym like this. Don't put it in the very first one where you have no HMs for it. Like, put me in a cave in the third gym that's like, well, okay, Flash isn't working, the cave is too steep, I'd accept it. But for the very first gym, I mean, I was kind of annoyed. And now I have this at such a crazy speed that you can't see the walking animation because the running speed naturally is super fast. So like the frames just aren't lining up. However, that's okay because this is just a lot of battling. I caught a Metatite. I caught a Larvitar as well. The Metatite, I couldn't think of a name for it until it struck me. It struck me like gold. It struck me like a bowl of Lucky Charms. The name is Count Chop. That's the name. And I was very pleased with myself. We go back, gotta heal the Pokemon because, well, you know, they took a beating, which means we have to navigate the whole cave again. Which, fine. But now we get to the precious Larvitar, which I love Larvitar. Because, you know, it's one of my favorites. It's just super insane attack. Special attack is kind of low, but you don't really need it. He's a defense powerhouse, and he's got mainly full attack moves, so don't gotta worry about special attack as much. But we caught it. Very happy about that. I was so thrilled, in fact, that I kind of just was like, yeah, woo, you know. So now I'm like, oh, what do I name you? And the easiest thing that came to mind is Dino, but not in the traditional sense, more like in a car dyno, like a dyno machine. Anyways, we go back and progress more through this cave. Like, this cave is such a slog. Like, the forest wasn't bad. I had a lot of fun going through there. The trainers were nice as far as like the different activity and NPCs that you meet, but it did kind of wear its nerves when I had to go through this. And also, see right here, this is where my Charmander evolved, and it's not even the first gym. So by the third gym, I'm gonna have a Charizard. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's written in stone. I called Jerry crashing the game in Pokemon in Power World. Oops. I called Jerry crashing the game in Power World. So now you have to believe me that I'm gonna have a Charizard by the third gym. You have to believe it, because I was prophetic in my calling of Jerry crashing the game. And if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's a lot of fun. Power World with Boom. We have a lot of fun on there. We're gonna have to do another episode soon. Things have just been kind of hectic with the holidays, with moving, with all that stuff. So now finally we get where we need to go, which is this really lit up room, which makes me even more upset. So he asked me, what do I think this is? And I'm like, the fuck do you mean? It's a cave, bro. It's a cave. So he says, no, it's yes, no, it's got a lot of fossils down here. This used to be a volcano. And he tells us this story about Heatran, or a legendary Pokemon, being there and left. So that's cool. He gives us an escape rope, and what I like is the escape rope is a registered item, which means it never runs out. perfect. So we go back to the gym and he says, trainers who aren't prepared can't enter inside. And I'm like, what do you mean? I found the leader for you. You said he was lost in the mines. Like, you can't just deny me access. So we talk to Evelyn and she gives us more insight on the legendary Pokemon. And it was the Heateran, who inhabited the volcano, the caves that we were just in. And at a certain point in time, there were some tourists who weren't familiar with the land. And before this rocky feature that you see upon you, it was grass, leaves, trees. But once those tourists entered inside and started prodding that Heateran, it left, the volcano erupted, and we got Granite Falls. Now finally, we get access to the gym after Evelyn gives us the Dynaband with no stones for any of our Pokemon. Now what I like about the gyms and the way they're set up is, at least for the first one, it's a puzzle, as well as once you enter the gym, you cannot leave, so you need to strategize your every move. Because, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'd go to a gym, fight 3 or 4 of the grunts, go back, heal my Pokemon, be fully healed for the boss. So having it set up like this, where you have to go in and commit to doing the full gym experience, was really refreshing, I think. And then adding the riddles, super dope. So I have to let this scene just play out, and I'll come back when it's done. Sorry, I felt like that was too cool to pass up because it was just a really cool scene, and hardly you ever get anything like that where you can hear cheering, there's stuff going on. Usually when you're fighting in a Pokemon gym, it's more compact and it's just you and the leader, and like that's it. To make it a whole spectacle is just cool to see. It almost seems like it's the anime or something. But anyways, we get into the battle, he Dynamaxes, and I'm like, okay bro, like, you're weak to rock type, so I'm gonna get my Larvitar in on this action. We fight Geo, and I'm excited for it until I was like, oh wait, this could be bad because he could be weak to rock type too. So, it wasn't though, we made it. We triumph, and the announcer yells our name over the loudspeaker, and I'm just super excited. Now, what irritates me about this is I had to jump through hurdles to get here. Okay, hurdles, literal hurdles. Go to the mines, go get Geo. Once I get Geo, I gotta leave, go back, get the Dynamax band because it's not professional if the trainers ain't ready. But Flint ran through there and literally just did the gym without the Dynamax band. He didn't have to get prepared or ready or whatever. I mean, what? Why are you putting all this stress on just me? You're making my life difficult. Just let me handle my business, and I promise you'll get good results. Just chill out. So once we leave the gym, Evelyn comes to see us and say, hey, you did really good out there. I just managed to catch your battle after I gave Flint his Dynamax band. You know, the thing he didn't need to challenge at the gym, but I needed. Anyways, jealousy aside, there's still 7 more leaders out there that we have to iron out and take care of before we can face the champion. Now, also, that means more run-ins with Flint. We get to see how strong he's become, so we move on to the next city. But before we do that, we run into Flint, and he says, yo, I've become super strong, and I chuckle to myself because I know that I'm about to sweep his team in the most embarrassing way. Dragon Breath has a chance to paralyze. Now I forgot about that, but in this video, we're just going to pretend like I didn't, and I did it intentionally to paralyze his drill bird. We make quick work of that. He brings out a flying type, I bring out my Larvitar. He brings out an Oshawott, I bring out my Bellsprout, and we quickly and swiftly defeat our rival. And he's upset, he's super salty about it. He's like, how did you do it? So, after that, he tells us about these dens. They're Dynamax dens or something of the sort, which seems pretty cool. He gives us a computer Pokemon box link, which we could mess with our Pokemon box on the go, which is cool. So the last thing we do for this video is we go and we work on this raid. Now I'm pretty confident. We just took down the gym, we took down our best friend multiple times, and you know, swept every trainer that dared to cross us. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling pretty confident. Now, at first, I thought maybe I could throw a Pokeball in between, but I was stupid, and that's not how it works. You gotta do it after you've weakened it. We got some decent loot, some extra small experience candy, and some small experience candy, and an Armorite ore. Which I'm like, okay bro, cool. And we go back to the Poke Center to heal our Pokemon, and to end this video. So, that has been the update on this Pokemon Romhack. Now I am going to be segmenting them like this. It's going to be up to the next gym, 2 gyms, or however it's going to roll out. I'll find a way to record and chop it up, but this is a series I'd like to do to just kind of vibe out, yap, do what I do best, you know, and just kind of have fun with it, do it in an interesting way. Maybe later on in the series something will happen where I have to add a cut in or just pause the video to air my grievances out. But we're not there yet. So far it's been super cool, super swift, and I'm excited to see more of the story. Now as for you all, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I appreciate you all for watching, and you all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, 1K gang. Happy holidays, and I'm glad to be back. We'll see you all.